Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering 2 Baruch, chapters 9 through 13, and it's going to be a heck of a show.
Yeah, it will. Because as you can probably tell by, did you see the title?
No, what did you title it?
Okay,
Sirens,
well, we got
demons and
Sirens
And automobiles?
Demons. Automobiles would have been a good one. That would have been a lot cooler to find in a book like this. But no, alas, automobiles are not in 2 Baruch. However,
unlike those advanced alien spacecraft that are in the space, the cave drawings and the
of course,
the
yes.
the Egyptian pyramids.
Yes,
and,
yes.
Because ancient aliens.
They knew about spacecrafts and space travel.
Of course they did.
Yeah, it's right there in all of their inscriptions without any ambiguity.
Yeah, if you only knew how to speak Egyptian and read Egyptian,
Right, yeah.
then you would understand.
Yeah, of
But
course.
anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah, so while you can't see the full title, there's also dragons. So there's going to be a poem in here. Pretty, I guess you could call it a poem or a prophecy of sorts. But it's certainly outlined like a poem. And it contains some mythological creatures. And it's good stuff. I think it makes a lot of callbacks. So, yes, thank you for the 69,420. If we could get this video up to 69,420 likes, that'd be great. Or views, that also
Or
be
dislikes.
Great. Or dislikes.
Dislikes are
Sure.
better for the channel,
Shares.
actually. If you dislike it, it doesn't go on
Please share the video 69,420 times.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember Baruch, right, he was the scribe of Jeremiah. We've covered first Baruch, but now we are continuing with this revelation. And so far, it's been very much, impending doom sort of stuff, new heaven and new earth kind of stuff that we've seen throughout, well, basically all biblical literature. But, So, anyways, I guess I can hand it off to you with chapter 9. Chapter 9 is really short, and chapter 10 is, of course, longer. But I think there will be some textual issues with the what was the name of that other papyrus that we were using? It was like the Oxy something papyrus. I forget the full name of it, but it's in here somewhere.
It's in there somewhere.
Yeah. There are differences between that manuscript and these sections that we'll be reading. Like there are just like straight up like extra passages, and I hope that they will be noted in the commentary here. I'm unsure if they will be, but I did find a site that did have them on them. So maybe if they're not noted, I'll check it out. But there are going to be some manuscript differences here.
I shan't be referring.
I didn't change the background.
Oh,
I meant
Chris,
to. I actually have the background. I just didn't change it.
Change the background.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yes, that is it.
Okay.
So, yeah, so that was my bad.
Why have you done this, Lawrence?
I messed up. You were busy talking to me about gospel music.
Yes, it's an important topic.
Right. Yeah, Ruben wants me to do a video about gospel music.
No, I want you to do a video about the history of entertainment mediums used in liturgical practices.
See, gospel music. So
it's not just gospel.
It's not just gospel.
You gotta refer to like the entire history of like what are they? Operettis, I think. They're these brief operas that Bach composed when he was producing music for the church, right? Right. There's an entire historical tradition of these like live dramatic performances that would be performed in these church services. It would be like the equivalent of you turning on your TV and watching a program today, right? You wouldn't have a lot of opportunities to go around and see a lot of shows, right? You had this,
sure, yeah.
and you had this guaranteed drama to continue, like presented with new music that's never been heard before.
Oh yeah, they would also have like when it came to certain processions or like incense burnings and stuff, like they'd make a show out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stuff like that.
And I bet there's some wild and crazy ancient Near East liturgical shit that you could find that would be super interesting for any audience.
Yeah, I feel like we covered some of that stuff in the sections on Leviticus that we covered on
A little
Blasphemous
bit.
Bible. Yeah, but there are like some hints of like some crazy old wacky traditions. So either way. But yeah, the explanation for this stuff. These are sirens. The the woman-headed birds, and they're going to be in today's reading. So
Is that what a siren's supposed to be?
you know, I
A
have seen
woman-headed bird?
You know what?
I
You know
have
what?
seen representations of sirens as that, like they're actual sculptures.
That's what it is in 5th edition.
And of course, Dungeons and Dragons. You know the standard bearers
only
of
resource-
ancient mythologies.
The only resource you'll ever need for ancient mythos, apparently.
obviously,
It's just a little strange.
of course, it's strange. They're sirens.
Yeah, I guess.
It's ancient
I don't know,
Greece.
then
It's
what's
strange.
a harpy?
Well, I think the harpy would just be the. This is from what I remember about harpies. They, instead of being, literally a bird with a woman's head, it would be, a woman with wings, like in an closer to like an angel.
a furry?
You know, if you want to interpret it that way, you can, but I don't think so.
Both of them are like a furry.
Yeah, both. Yeah, different types of furries. But I would think that
They're
the
featheries,
harpies-
guys.
No.
I would think that the harpies. Sorry. I
care.
think they also had weapons. The harpies also had weapons.
Okay, so they have opposable thumbs.
Yes, opposable
and-
thumbs and weapons.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
They also have like talons for feet still, right?
Isn't there-
I don't know.
Isn't there another one where it's like
There's
Moorbird?
representation in Yu-Gi-Oh, right? But
Yeah.
like that's but they were
She had a feather duster. Remember that?
Yeah,
Big
Harpy
fan.
feather duster.
Yeah, Harpy's feather duster. Yeah, but I think actual harpies were just kind of like closer to like I think they're called Irenes or Irenes. They were essentially like avenging close to avenging angels. You
Okay.
could think of it.
Mm.
But I think that's what they were similar to. I don't fully remember.
Are those
the harpy
basically
things.
like Valkyries?
Kinda close to that. But like I said, I don't remember exact differences on this stuff. That's just what I vaguely remember as being the difference.
Okay.
So-
Well, today we're reading Second Baruch,
Yes, we are.
and I don't know if it has any harpies, but
It has sirens, that's for
It
sure.
has
Got feather
Sirens.
dusters.
yes. Chapter 9. And I, Baruch, came with Jeremiah, whose heart was found to be pure from sins, and who was not captured during the seizure of the city. And we rent our garments, and wept, and mourned, and fasted for 7 days. Chapter 10.
Yep, that was it. That was all of chapter 9.
Well, howdy doody. Let me just fix all this.
Yeah, all they did was be sad and fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're
They-
just being sad.
No, they entered into a traditional mourning procedure.
Right. Being sad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And fasted 7 days.
Yes.
So it's
As part of being
implied that
sad.
they engaged in the perfect and whole, complete mourning.
Sure, yeah. That's true.
It's religiously pure.
Yeah.
So chapter 10. And this one is the longer poem, right?
Right, yeah. So we're going to have some pretty cool stuff.
Baruch's lamentation. And it happened after 7 days that the word of God came to me.
Sorry, hold on. Can we move the thumbnail, not the thumbnail, the background down? Because there's the black, section down here. That's, not the image. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, if you change the camera to a different one.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not the full. Yeah.
Look at that.
There you go.
How about that? I'll try.
Pull it down.
Yeah. So.
You can move it.
You
You
can.
know how.
Yes, he does. I'm very proud of him when he does that. Look at that. Beautiful movement there, sir.
I just didn't care before.
The word of God came to me and said to me,
I just felt like a movie frame. It's fine.
tell Jeremiah to go away in order to support the captives under Babylon.
You know, I like how he couldn't talk directly to Jeremiah about it.
Yeah, why not?
Jeremiah
Isn't he a prophet?
And he couldn't be bothered. Maybe he got sick of his whining.
Jeez.
He's not a good friend anymore.
No. You're right. He's not.
So the word NGYM can be translated as support only. Support the captives under Babylon. Jeremiah 43:6-7 reports that Jeremiah went to Egypt. Baruch 1:1 states that he is in Babylon. According to 4th Baruch 4:5, he also went to Babylon. PR 26:6 states that he was sent to Babylon, but that he returned to Jerusalem.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it's almost like you can really tell what they're talking about when they say going to Egypt. Probably means going to Babylon.
Oh, yeah, Gandalf died, I think. My dad told me the guy who played Gandalf died.
Did he? Okay, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. But last time I mentioned something like that on stream, it was Noam Chomsky.
Right. And
because
it turned out
someone sent me a text message when he knew that I was on the air saying that Noam Chomsky died.
Is it who I am thinking it is?
It's someone who posted in here.
Yes, that is who I'm thinking it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And that is the only reason I brought that up. But, Gandalf, man.
Oh, the other one?
Yeah.
Hold on. What is this I'm seeing about Daddy Lawrence in chat? Or
Daddy Lawrence?
In Discord. What am I seeing?
I don't know.
Where did I see that? Hello? I see. Okay. There we go. You're right. Fair enough, guys. Good conclusions.
People don't like Noam anymore because of Epstein ties. People didn't like Noam before. Noam's intentionally taken countercultural positions for his entire life.
Yeah, I mean, his countercultural positions, generally speaking, I was like, for the most part, they're fine. I don't know about the Epstein ties, though. But okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he did with Epstein. A lot of people were associated
when I say
Epstein.
I don't know, I mean, I literally never heard him implicated in it. So I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I haven't heard that.
Yeah,
so, okay.
Neither have I. But a lot of people are associated with Epstein.
That is true, yeah.
We can't.
I heard Krauss. Where's Krauss? Had that.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking? Was he really?
Yeah.
Epstein
I
was
think there's
everywhere.
photos of them together.
That's
Okay.
the problem.
Okay.
He was
Not sure.
everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean-
that is true.
When you judge someone based off of that, you're just engaging in guilt by association.
Well, that's one thing, but I think because I don't know the Chomsky story or anything, but because a lot of people were on flight logs to a certain island, right? So that would be implicating them more than if you just
Sure.
had a passing run-in with the guy.
Legitimately, yes.
Yeah.
That would. But how many people do you think he invited out who
Millions.
just thought innocently, oh yeah, I knew
I don't
President of the United States would sure love to go to this private island and have a party. Sure,
Maybe
rich guy.
some of them.
I'm sure it happened at least once.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And then he's got dirt on them forever.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So.
And then he definitely didn't kill himself.
I wonder what's going to happen to his girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But anyways, let's, I don't know why we even got on that. Let's hop into, let's continue with this.
Yeah, we went from Noam
prophecy.
Chomsky to Epstein.
Right, somehow.
Yeah. Anyways. You, however, stay here in the desolation of Zion, and I shall show you after these days what will happen at the end of days. It's happening.
Okay, good.
And I spoke to Jeremiah as the Lord commanded me. He then went away with the people. But I, Baruch, came back and sat in front of the doors of the temple. And I raised the following lamentation over Zion and said, now we're going to get into this long poetry section.
Yeah.
And there's various references here.
There are.
You can pull out,
A lot of
for
stuff.
example, the book of Jeremiah right off the bat. Jeremiah 20:14. Why don't you read that?
You said Jeremiah 2014?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, not the year.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I would be reading that one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jeremiah 20:14. Cursed be the day on which I was born, the day when my mother bore me. Let it not be blessed. I feel that.
Blessed is he who was not born, or he who was born and died. Now there's also,
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of references to. Oh, okay.
First Enoch 38:2.
First Enoch 38:2.
And then after that.
And when the righteous one shall appear before the eyes of the righteous, whose elect works hang upon the Lord of spirits, and light shall appear to the righteous and the elect who dwell in the earth. When then will be the dwelling of the sinners, and where the resting place of those who have denied the Lord of spirits? It had been good for them if they had not been born. So my guess here.
Sentiment is in 2nd Enoch 41:2.
I believe you.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I agree. It'd be better if I was never born.
Are you anti-natalist? Do you think that it's immoral for people to have children?
No. I just think it's a stupid idea.
Okay. But we, the living, woe to us, because we have seen those afflictions of Zion and that which has befallen Jerusalem. I shall call the sirens from the sea, and you, Liline, come from the desert, and you, demons and dragons from the woods.
So this is fun stuff already, right?
Yes.
So
first we have the Liline. Is that a reference
to Lilith? It's Lilith. It's the plural, and it talks literally about the desert dwelling demons that I talked about in the Lilith video, which you should all go watch, because Lilith was not like a character, like wasn't a person until far later in tradition. And in the time that Baruch was written, in the time that, Jeremiah especially.
Statistically, you watched it. Come on. We all knew you saw the video.
Yeah, you had to have watched it.
Statistically, you did.
If you didn't,
there you go.
Go away. So
wow.
You go away and watch it is what I mean. Totally.
Now, I want you to pull out the Septuagint as well.
Oh, Septuagint? Okay, yeah, sure. We have that. But yes, the demons, I believe, are the as Chromatic points out that it's could be Shadim there, right? Which were a type of demon. So Lilin are also a type of demon.
He identifies them with idols in the footnote here.
Oh, does he? Okay, so what's the... I'm sorry, April, at some point you need to watch that video because it's probably my only actually really good work. But you should watch that video because it's good stuff. Very important.
What you should do? You should open up the Septuagint.
You're going to say in 10 years, that's trash, and then my newest video
to Micah 1:8.
Micah 1:8 in the Septuagint? Oh, boy. Okay.
Because Micah 1:8 apparently has a mention of these sirens.
Oh, okay. So let's... I'm going to see if I can find it because that's like one of the small ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Micah. Let's see. Micah 1:8.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So it does have, therefore shall she lament and wail. She shall go barefooted, and being naked, she shall make lamentation as that of serpents, and mourning as of the daughters of sirens.
Mm-hmm. And the Greek term...
Serenon.
Serenon.
So of sirens, yeah.
Okay. Yes. Sirens are in there. And I'd like you to pull up Deuteronomy 32:17.
Deuteronomy 32:17. A lot of citations today.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this will apparently reference the demons being idols.
I see. Okay. They sacrificed to demons that were no gods, to gods that had never they had never known, to new gods that had come recently, whom your fathers had never dreaded. So is the word that's used in this shadim? Or is this the demon? Oh, yeah, they sacrificed the demon. Sorry. Is that the word that's used there, shadim, then?
I believe so. You could have used the Septuagint.
I could have, but then still.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Have some knowledge of that which you seek. But
either way, so
they use a term here for the dragons that is found in the Peshitta version of the Old Testament in Isaiah 13:22 and 43:20.
Oh, okay.
So the dragon does have precedent somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
And oh well.
But yeah, these are the things that are meant to... These are a whole bunch of things that destroy.
The point is that the sirens are from the sea, the Lilian are from the desert, the demons and dragons are from the woods, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they cover the general landmass areas
Where
that
the jackals
they know about.
from?
The jackals are the dragons.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Right, yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the translations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Minorize.
Anyways. Awake and gird up your loins to mourn, and raise lamentations with me, and mourn with me. You, farmers, sow not again, and you, O earth, why do you give the fruit of your harvest? Nothing of note there. Keep within you the sweetness of your sustenance. And you, vine, why do you still give your wine? For an offering will not be given again from you in Zion, and the first fruits will not again be offered. And you, heaven, keep your dew within you, and do not open the treasuries of rain.
I like how they're saying your first fruits will never again be offered. So that's like an end of
Because
Old
the
Testament
temple has
sacrifices, yeah.
been destroyed.
Well, sure. But if they're doing that with the expectation of like this eventual rebuilding, like at that point you won't have to have those first fruit offerings again.
Mm-hmm. But even they don't think that the rebuilding is going to happen, right? They've just lost their city.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is that because in the author's time period, the next phase of I guess reality is like heaven, like the heavenly takeover, I guess. So without the first fruits offerings, then because there's no temple, right?
Yes.
And you won't need to have it until there's a temple again, but there won't be a temple because the next phase is this the heavenly takeover, I'm going to call it.
Yeah. Well, I don't
because we had the thing last week about the new Jerusalem.
Right. But that's not what's going on here. He's literally providing a lamentation.
Yeah, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming the author.
Well, I guess, yeah, he's sad about not being able to do that, sure.
Look, the author's time period, right? When was the author born?
Well, we don't know when the author was born, but
all right, that's the difficulty, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, this would have been in about. Didn't we say that it was in the first century or so? Like anywhere between, somewhere in the intertestamental
yeah,
period?
we were talking about Baruch, but so two dates are 117 and 132. Okay.
Yeah.
So, look, the authors in his time experienced the destruction of the temple. Is presenting these figurative characters. They also experienced the destruction of a temple.
Yes.
And he's using them to provide a lamentation. This guy,
Yes, yeah.
This is just in the years following the destruction of the temple. Do you think that the author is really hopeful that they're gonna reclaim Judea and
not in any physical sense, right? But like, isn't the whole hope of that part of that era of
the Bar
Judaism?
Kokhba rebellion?
Oh, sure. Yeah. But like, I mean, no, the whole hope for basically all of Judaism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And is like eventually everything will be like returned to God.
Mm-hmm.
Like it will be rebuilt, but it'll be like the last phase where God is like literally on earth and kind of stuff. That kind of stuff. Like that was the Jewish hope.
Well, yeah, eventually. But they're not in a section about that right now.
Right, yeah.
Right now, he's just sad about the destruction of the second temple. So he's using characters from the first temple period to talk about it. And so all of these things are, he's begging for destruction not to happen now, right? He's saying, heaven, keep your dew within you. Do not open the treasuries of rain. And you, sun, keep the light of your rays within you. And you, moon, extinguish the multitude of your light. Why should the light rise again where the light of Zion is darkened? And you, bridegrooms, do not enter, and do not let the brides adorn themselves. And you, wives, do not pray to bear children, for the barren will rejoice more. And those who have no children will be glad, and those who have children will be sad.
Well, of course
it is. That was like super hot fire.
Spitting bars.
Yeah. I'm not a rapper. Stop rapping at me. There you go.
I feel bad.
Me too. That hurt.
It should. I wanted it to be painful.
It worked.
I did it for you.
Thanks.
You were
Thank
very
you for
successful.
caring so much about my pain.
Mm-hmm. For why should they bear pains only to bury in grief? Why should men have children again? Why should the generation of their kind be named again? Where This mother is lonely, and her children have been carried away into captivity. So,
It's very anti-natalist, isn't it?
no, not really.
Well, I mean, it's more like things are so bad, it's better off not to have been born. It's the same kind of thought.
No.
Yeah. Which,
Why would
don't
you
totally disagree.
The question is, why would you have a child if the children of Zion are carried away into captivity?
Yeah.
Like, if even this special exalted group of people can be impacted this way, then anyone out there who is not a special exalted group of people would certainly be in a worse position.
Yeah, you could interpret it that way, or it could just be like the setup to something greater, right? Like, just we have it very bad right now.
Yeah, they have it bad, and eventually they're gonna be like, but things will improve, maybe.
Right? Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Maybe. Henceforth, do not speak any more beauty, and do not talk about gracefulness. You, priests.
You're pointing at me. Okay.
Yeah. Take the keys to the sanctuary and cast them to the highest heaven and give them to the Lord and say, guard your house yourself, because behold,
Behold!
we have been found to be false stewards. Oof.
Well, sucks for them.
And you.
Oh, Ember is here also. Hello.
Hi, Amber. And you, virgins who spin fine linen and silk with gold of Ophir, make haste and take all things and cast them into the fire.
Wait a minute. You pointed at me and called me a virgin. I see what you did there. You got me.
I gotcha.
Wow.
I wanted it to be for the people who watch the screen.
Of course, yeah.
They need to get something extra out of
Actually
watching.
physically watching us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing if you're doing that.
If you're
We don't do
playing a
anything.
video game and not looking at the screen intently while we read, then you wouldn't see any of this right now.
So here's the scary part. We don't even know who that guy was.
Mm-hmm.
He just came up here and left. And he's gone now. Chris, wasn't that weird? Who was that?
No one.
No one. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Perhaps we are insane.
Oh. Anyways. Make haste and take all things. Cast them into the fire so they may carry them to him who made him. And the flame sends them to him who created them, so that the enemies do not take possession of them. Kind of like the Masada.
Masada.
It's a mountain.
What?
They marched up this mountain, and all the Jews on the top of the mountain killed themselves rather than being taken prisoner.
Oh, wait, hold on. Was this during wait. No,
it wasn't in the
wasn't.
Bible.
No, I know it wasn't in the Bible.
It's an actual event.
Right.
That's how you know it's not biblical.
Yeah, I remember hearing something like that, but I don't think it was that story. I remember reading some stuff similar to that during like the Crusades. But I don't remember when that specific one happened.
I don't know, maybe Tomer can tell us.
Because during the Crusades, they did this. The Jews did this thing where instead of dying by the sword, they killed themselves.
Oh yeah, remember that?
That was
Pretty bad.
yeah. So yeah, I really don't. You can feel free to look that up. So is that the end of the chapter?
Yep, that is the end of the chapter. Hey, if you're enjoying the stream,
Remember
keep your
to
pants on.
Keep your pants on,
or don't.
and make sure
You can do whatever
to
you
have
want.
your hands where we can see them. So, yeah.
Freeze.
I'm going to get into chapter 11.
Mhm.
That's what I'm going to do.
Title 19.
Title 19. Now, don't threaten you with a good time. I'll do whatever I want. Now this I, Baruch, say to you, O Babylon, if you had lived in happiness in Zion in its glory, it would have been a great sorrow to us that you had been equal to Zion. But now, behold!
Behold.
The grief is infinite, and the lamentation is immeasurable. Because, behold!
Behold.
You are happy, and Zion has been destroyed. Who will judge over these things? Or to whom shall we complain about that which has befallen us? Who will we complain to? Or whom shall we complain about? That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Oh Lord, how have you borne it? Our fathers went to rest without grief, and behold!
Behold.
The righteous sleep at rest in the earth. For they did not know this anguish, nor did they hear that which has befallen us. Would that you had ears, O earth, and would that you had a heart, O dust, so that you might go and announce in the realm of death and say to the dead, you are more happy than we who live. So first of all, hilarious. Second of all, this personification of the earth and the dust, like just so you can go speak to the dead, because they have.
Well, you are dust.
We are all stardust.
No. Jewish theology.
Oh, sure. Yes.
You are dust.
Yeah, I would say so.
Any reference to dust is a reference to humans, right?
Well, not quite right, because they're literally talking about the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they want the
earth,
dust
of which formed you.
Sure, it will Adam,
system.
right? But so he's asking the earth, it's like, oh, I wish you could hear, and the dust, probably the dust of the earth, to feel, because they want these things, these entities, to go, these personified entities, to talk to the dead, because the earth and the ground, the dust on the earth, have a connection to the dead.
Yeah,
because the dead are in it, right?
They become dust.
Right, they do. Yes, depends on the burial, right? But
so it's necromancy. They're gathering human remains in order to contact the dead.
I think that's a very roundabout way of looking at it.
It sounds like necromancy to me.
Yep.
No, he's saying, like, because would that means like, oh, if only. Like,
I wish that I could do necromancy.
Right. So it's not necromancy. They're wishing. But anyways, but
You're not supposed to do that.
The thing is, they're trying to get around the necromancy, right? Because it's not them wanting to talk to the dead. It's them wanting the earth to talk to the dead.
Whatever. You
Like,
roundabout weirdo.
I have an important aside.
Okay.
You know about the first Jewish-Roman War?
Are we talking about the one in 70? The one that had the destruction of the temple?
In 66 CE,
Yes.
a group of Jewish rebels, the Sicarii, overcame the Roman garrison of Masada Mountain
Oh, okay.
with the
That was
aid
that
of a
one.
ruse. After the destruction of the Second Temple in 70, additional members of the Sicarii fled Jerusalem and settled on the mountaintop after slaughtering the Roman garrison. According to Josephus, the Sicarii were an extremist Jewish splinter group, antagonistic to larger groupings of Jews referred to as zealots, who carried the main burden of the rebellion. Josephus said that the Sicarii raided nearby Jewish villages, including Ein Gedi, where they massacred 700 women and children. In 73 CE, the Roman governor of Judea, Lucius Flavius Silva, headed the Roman legion, Legion 10 Fretensis, and laid siege to Masada. Another source gives the year of the siege as 73 or 74. The Roman legion surrounded Masada, building a circumvallation wall and then a siege ramp against the western face of the plateau. According to Dan Gill, geological investigations in the early 1900s confirmed earlier observations that the 114-meter high assault ramp consisted mostly of a natural spur of bedrock. The ramp was complete in the spring of 73 after probably 2 to 3 months of siege, allowing the Romans to finally breach the wall of the fortress with a battering ram on April 16th. The Romans employed the 10th Legion and a number of auxiliary units and Jewish prisoners of war, totaling some 15,000, of whom an estimated 8,000 to 9,000 were fighting men, in crushing Jewish resistance at Masada. A giant siege tower with battering ram was constructed and then moved laboriously up the completed ramp. According to Josephus, when Roman troops entered the fortress, they discovered that its defenders had set all the buildings but the food storerooms ablaze and committed mass suicide or killed each other, 960 men, women, and children in total. Josephus wrote of 2 stirring speeches that the Sicarii leader had made to convince his men to kill themselves. Only 2 women and 5 children were found alive. Josephus presumably based his narration upon the field commentaries of Roman commanders that were accessible to him. But there are discrepancies between archaeological findings in Josephus's writings. Josephus mentions only one of the 2 places that have been excavated, refers only to one fire, and though many buildings show fire damage, claims 960 people were killed, though the remains of most 28 bodies have been found. Other details are correct. So that is the story.
I was looking in here, but unfortunately, it wasn't in the index, so... I was trying to find the section on that. But thank you for that.
That's straight coming at from Wikipedia.
We're just like that. Who's that guy? It was the one who published the Acts of Paul and Thecla, that book.
Oh,
yeah. The thing is, he cited it as a source. He cited the Wikipedia page as a source. He didn't go to like the sources on Wikipedia. He cited Wikipedia. We didn't do that.
Google.com.
Google.com. That's where I found this. Yeah. It's the same sort of thing. Like I just Googled it, guys. Yeah. So.
And look it up.
But luckily we're not publishing anything. Like this is an academic publication. This show.
Brought to you by all those pseudo-academics that totally support us. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, every pseudo-academic. I'm going to continue on. And I believe we are now on Chapter 12.
Maybe those real academics.
What do you think of academics, Lawrence?
He loves
I think it's a pain in the ass.
No, not the concept. The people.
Oh,
I think it's a pain in the ass.
But yeah. Most of them have a real stick up their ass. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they have a pain in their ass.
Oof.
You know who really didn't like academics?
A lot of people.
Professor Dr. Theodore John Kaczynski really didn't like academics.
Yep. I'm gonna continue on now.
Are you saying that you support the writings of Professor Dr. Theodore John Kaczynski?
I understand they exist.
I want to move on.
Okay.
From Kaczynski, okay? So.
He dead, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did. Wasn't it? That was recently, right?
And relative.
Yeah, it was relatively recently.
Yeah.
He was apparently writing a book or something.
Yep.
So
He
maybe
wrote a lot, though.
maybe you'll see some last interesting piece of writing.
Tidbit.
Yeah.
Tidbits by Ted. It's a bit delusional at the end.
Can only hope. So chapter 12. But I shall say as I think, and I shall speak to you, O land, that which is happy. Yeah, see, he's talking about the land, always. The afternoon will not always burn, nor will the rays of the sun always give light. Oh, prophecy. Do not think and do not expect that you will always have happiness and joy. And do not raise yourself too much and do not oppress. For surely wrath will arise against you in its own name, because long suffering is now held back, as it were, by rains.
He died in solitary confinement.
It looks like 12:3 in the, let's see, it reads in the Greek, and do not expect to have joy and do not excessively oppress. But so it's interesting here. So all of chapter 12 and the first 2 verses are only available in one manuscript tradition. The first 2 verses of the next verse, I mean. The next chapter, my bad. Yeah, they're only available in one tradition. So, and having said these things, I fasted for 7 days. So this is the second 7-day fast.
You know what the funny thing is? If you read what he writes, they're all talking about the Unabomber now.
Oh, I wonder why.
Yeah, if you read what he writes, he's constantly complaining about academics and talking shit about them, just like all the time. And it's like, oh, who could have seen this coming? Like, it clearly had an issue with these universities and university peoples, right?
Yeah, like I can understand the frustration, but
and he didn't get over it either, because after he did all the Unabomber stuff and he was still writing, he would still talk about how all these academics, he has problems with all of them. But
I don't have a problem with
he just never got over that.
not a great way to express your
No,
feelings.
not a good way to
by
express
sending
your
bombs to
feelings.
people.
No.
All right. So now on to chapter 13, the final chapter for the day.
I've met people who don't like academics.
Right, yeah, but they're not bombing anyone because of that.
Mhm.
No.
I've never even heard someone suggest inflicting violence on like professors.
Right, yeah.
Like, if you have a legitimate problem, there's a process.
Leave.
Yeah.
There's several processes.
Right,
like,
yeah.
if you think they need to leave, you can recommend to their superior that they probably shouldn't have a job and tell them why if you're sincere. It works.
Well,
I've canned enough professors in that way.
And also, these institutions are businesses. If you really take issue with something that some lab is doing, you can have them. Like, you just have to socially.
You can cancel them now.
Yeah. Now you can cancel them
you can
very
cancel them.
easily. You can shut down their entire operation.
Yeah.
Right? Through Twitter.
It's a really scary phenomenon in itself, but
It's like the internet is a loaded gun.
yeah, it kind of is. Yeah,
And everybody's playing Russian roulette all the time.
Wow.
that's not too far off the truth there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so on to the final chapter of the day.
Think the internet will ever acknowledge we exist?
No.
No. Really only.
Top 10 YouTubers nobody knows about.
Wow, that'd be a good one.
We were on that list really early on.
Yeah. But the thing is that was.
And then Atheist Rue was like, you remember that guy?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Atheist Rue. Whatever happened to him? I honestly don't
He made
know.
the list, or he made like a response video to the list, right?
Yeah, he made a response video to the list. Is he still alive?
I don't know.
But
It matters not.
But he brought us up when we were in there at like number 30 of the top
Something
50
like that,
or
yeah.
some shit like that. And he was just like, Milwaukee atheist. Well, you guys are living in Milwaukee. You got a lot worse things to worry about than the non-existence of God.
Right, yeah.
And that's all he said about it.
That's all he said.
It's like, Milwaukee is not that bad. Okay.
Like, people, like...
Live here.
Well, yeah.
Actually, we were reported as one of the safest cities last year.
Well, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that because...
City proper, not county.
Okay, sure.
County?
Okay. In the county, yeah.
No, our county is not much safer than any other county.
What do you mean city proper? You mean that they
actually, hold on.
They gerrymandered their way around it so that they didn't have to acknowledge the more violent parts.
That's
exist?
probably what you. That's probably what they mean. Yeah.
Probably.
I'm also calling bullshit. Okay, so yeah, in the county, absolutely not. In like the city, like downtown area, right?
Yeah, downtown
also not.
Has apparently been great last year. I don't know.
Okay, last year maybe, right? Oh, you know what? That's probably it, right? Because that entire area. Like downtown Milwaukee,
got cleaned up.
It did get really cleaned up.
Really got cleaned
But
up.
the thing is, every area surrounding it.
No, like it's a slum.
It's like so we're talking about like east side, river west, the south side, like everything just outside of downtown Milwaukee.
Not so great.
Not so great, yeah.
No.
So that is hilarious.
Well, there's like a hierarchy of grime.
Is Milwaukee
Right.
in Canada?
Hierarchy.
No, Milwaukee is in Wisconsin. Look up where that is.
I don't know how to put, like, the east side is bad, but it's not like
Well, I've never had
that
issues.
bad. It's
Yeah.
and it's not like the north side, right?
right, yeah.
But the north side is different than the south side. The south side is like kind of in between the east side and the north side, but River West is just like it's bad, but they're all bad in different ways.
Yeah, so
right?
so like one, it can be like like way more violent. Like one can be you can have more of like a homeless problem, right?
If you're in River West, you're more likely to have a guy pull a knife on you late at night somewhere
Right.
in a park, or have your car keyed, or like tires.
It's like really petty stuff.
Petty stuff.
for the
but
most
if
part.
you're like all the way in, what is it, on the other
If
side?
you're like past, what is it? Is it
60th
7th
and
Street?
Milwaukee or something.
If you're
Yeah.
past, I don't know if it's past 7th Street or past 7th. If you're past 7th Street on that side
Yeah.
or in that latitude, I guess.
You could have your car taken.
Yeah, like it gets
You could
like
get
intense.
shot.
It gets intense over there.
You probably won't. Like, I've never.
Yeah, like me neither. I got
You're not
you-
gonna it's
If you have
statistical.
a Kia, there are parts of the city where you should not
True.
park your car.
That is true. Yes. And like, I think that the worst I've personally experienced in River West was someone trying to mug me. It didn't work out for them. Because I basically like duped them is the thing. So, and then I left with my stuff. That's the worst that ever happened to me. It wasn't a big thing. Didn't have a gun, thankfully. And occasionally we get like a random crazy at my place of work, right? Who comes in just talking nonsense. And it doesn't really get much worse. There was like a gunshot 2 weeks ago, like a few blocks away.
Oh, man. If you're outside at night here and the wind is blowing from the city here, or at least, brown deer away from the lake, you can hear gunshots occasionally.
Sure, yeah.
I
It
mean,
happens
it
once in a
happens.
while. But I feel like that's like with any like bigger
Major city.
Yeah.
I don't think that's unique. I don't know. Probably there's meth
Probably
in
happens a ton
Milwaukee.
more in like New York, right?
I don't think we have a big problem here with that. I think we have cokeheads and drinkers mostly. Mostly
Everyone's
drinkers.
drunk all the time here.
It's just
There's
drinking-
nothing to do.
There's a drinking problem.
There's
for
a pretty
everyone.
big
I don't
problem
drink,
with pretty
weirdly,
much
but-
all substances in Milwaukee.
That is true.
It's kind of like
It's a great place to be, guys. Come on down.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If you want to see a place that's like 50% black market, Milwaukee.
You think it really that high?
I think so.
Damn.
You know how many people I knew in college who made all of their money through like illicit transactions?
Oh, probably a bunch.
A bunch.
Yeah, I knew a ton of guys.
How can there be so many people?
all right. It's 50%.
It's gotta be like 50%
how can there be like
of our
half
economy.
of them if there's like half of them?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, the most ghetto place I ever lived was Kenosha.
Kenosha's not.
It's not even like.
It's more like Chicago hood. It's actually dangerous.
Oh yeah, real dangerous. It's not.
You guys weren't there like a year before they burnt down the college I went to. You have to remember that. Like there was a giant riot there. It's in the news sometimes.
Yeah,
still.
there was that riot.
That
yes,
whole place
I remember
was nuts.
that.
You guys gotta believe me. It's the craziest place. I've been around, and that was the craziest place.
I mean, all the times I've been in Kenosha, it's like this is so tame.
There's nothing to do. That's why it goes nuts. It's worse than here. There's literally nothing to do. The place I went to was called Parkside. It's the side of a park.
Just really selling it as a place to.
There was nothing. People on campus were so reckless, restless.
Yeah, this place is. It's all right. It's fine. It's not as bad as people make it sound. Is the thing.
Yeah, right. At least there's a movie theater.
It is quite the melting pot, though.
No, it's not.
No, I mean, sorry. You can go to you can experience basically any culture in mass in Milwaukee. Like there's going to be.
Oh yeah, there's like a Polish immigrants area, German immigrants area.
Yeah, there's everything culture
and beyond everything. There's subcultures, tons of them. It's an interesting place to live, I guess.
They have a joke about some bridge being the largest bridge in the world because it connects Africa to Germany or whatever.
I don't think I've heard that one.
I don't know. One of my racist great uncles used to say it. This is about Milwaukee, right?
It's all white people. Hell no, this place is not all white people. Are you kidding me?
Milwaukee is not all white people. Okay,
of everything else.
There are heavily segmented sections.
It's super segmented. Yes.
Right? So, like the north side,
but you don't have to go very far to experience an entirely different world. Basically.
Yep.
The north side is basically mostly African Americans. Like it's the African American side of town, right? And if you go to the north side right now, you're gonna deal with the Kia Boys, and the Kia Boys are a gang that steals Kias and Hyundais. It's all they do. They steal your car, they joyride it around, they wreck it, and they leave it. They might steal.
Don't get a Kia.
Yeah, don't get a Ford
or Toyota.
Nah, get a Ford.
Toyotas don't break.
The thing is, I don't really keep up to date on where these Kia things are happening, but I do know that that Kias are overwhelmingly stolen.
It's spreading too.
Yeah.
But then there's Bayside and Fox Point where there are a lot of Jewish people.
Right, yeah.
There are a lot of Russian people. There are a lot.
That's why my family is here.
And there is Glendale, and which is more mixed.
It is pretty mixed.
Glendale is probably the most mixed.
Glendale's actually our mixing pot, and it's huge. It's a city proper in its own right.
Yeah. Brown Deer is kind of halfway between Glendale and the north side.
It's gotten slummier over the years since the big mall closed there.
Mm-hmm.
That whole side of town went downhill. There used to be a Fridays and all these shopping places around the mall, and then the mall had a bunch of shootings and.
But also malls themselves died.
Yeah, I mean, in general, there's this, Bayshore in Glendale is not really a mall.
That one's going down now.
It's not a mall.
It's not all white people. There's a Hispanic side of town. There's a huge Hmong population.
Massive.
Right, that's true. A big Hmong
a couple
population.
friends of ours are Hmong.
But they're all in different sectioned off parts of the city.
Essentially,
What
they
is-
segmented themselves off.
But
Yeah,
what's
no,
strange about
every group picked their own like little area of Milwaukee.
It's
and
almost-
just like stayed that way mostly.
No, it's almost like some people moved there and then invited their families, and their families invited their families
Yes.
and friends.
Like it wasn't
and-
like an on purpose thing.
No, but
Yes, it was.
yes and no. I
We
mean, you
have-
want to live
Well,
near your family and
Germantown,
friends.
maybe,
You
but,
want to live
like-
near your
No,
family.
no. Every single locality within Wisconsin was heavily regulated with who could and could not
Oh, there were
buy property.
housing,
And this wasn't
yeah.
just like by city, it was like by subdivision.
Yep.
Right? So
Gonna buy property.
yeah, if you were black, there was a time when you could not go to Whitefish Bay and buy a house.
That explains a lot about Whitefish Bay.
Yeah, it
Call
was
it white
illegal.
folks pay for a reason.
Yeah.
There are a lot of places around.
Also, don't ever go to if you ever come to this town, never go to Whitefish Bay. That
Whatever.
place is like shitty rich white people, and they're all shitty and rich.
I can't imagine that I've spent much time there other than at their library. They have a nice library.
And they're not even that
The
wealthy.
library is not that nice.
They live in
It's fine.
$600,000 houses,
they're not-
not $1 million houses.
Fine, not $1 million houses.
No,
but
that's-
they're still
they're
fucking
reasonably
assholes.
well off.
They're still assholes
Right.
over there. Everyone's
So-
a dick.
And then there's the one place you forgot where the super rich live, which is River Hills.
River Hills, yeah.
Is where you get the
Well, they're
douchey. Doesn't matter who you are. Could be a football player, could be a basketball player, or a guy who owns Goodwill. The whole company, stuff like that. People who live around there.
well, the River
All
Hills
rich
people are like literally hidden away in
Yep.
their
Right.
private villas.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're not like
They have
like
literally
usually,
beach ships that are houses, basically.
right. They're not usually like bothering anybody like in person. The people in Whitefish Bay are condensed and douches. They're fucking assholes.
They're middle class, high upper middle class.
Yeah, and the thing is like they're all fucking spoiled over there, pieces of shit.
Well, that's Milwaukee for you on our side, but then there's like South Milwaukee and like what's Bayview you forgot about.
Oh yeah, Bayview.
Yeah, that's all still part of Milwaukee.
Right.
The
So,
thing is, I disagree. You can't go and experience the culture, right?
you're not
because-
allowed.
Because
You're forbidden.
everything is westernized, everything is anglicized, everything is right. You don't go to the Chinese. There's no Chinatown in Milwaukee.
The thing is,
right?
that is changing.
There's places where there's a couple of Asian restaurants, right? But everything's in English, almost always. There's occasional,
Or they usually have it in 2 languages at least. Yeah.
maybe there's a second language. But it's not like you go to the Polish village and like it's all people are wearing Polish fashion and like there's nothing like that.
There's Polish community centers. There's more than one.
if
there
they're
are community
going to
centers.
specific events
I mean,
for specific purposes.
There's entire sides of town that like mostly have poles at them, and that's where you would see the community center. I mean, I'm talking from experience, so.
There is a there used to be this thing like well before COVID. This is like mid 2000s that it was a big thing where they year round they would have different festivals for like all the different cultures.
They do. They've got Festa Italiana. They've got German
A
Fest.
lot of them have like went they just stopped doing them because they weren't popular enough. Like there was a Russian fest
Yeah.
that like my mom had part in like organizing.
Yeah.
and what do they do? Serve
Bad food. Yes, it was bad food and drinking
still
all the
think-
time.
I
so
still
Russian
think-
Fest. You show up, you stand in line, you get a small bowl of
You
borscht
just call it German.
and
German
a
Fest
still little bread roll, and that's all of Russian Fest, right?
Then you leave.
And you leave.
Yeah.
Someone plays the accordion.
German Fest was not German Fest. Russian Fest wasn't very good. Yeah, we still have German Fest.
There's still the Mexican one too. I forgot what Festa something that as well. They've got a bunch of them. I mean, an Irish
a
Fest.
lot of them. Yeah,
Don't
Irish
forget
Fest.
Irish Fest. That one's huge.
A lot of them stopped. They just stopped doing a lot of them because they were
What, after
making
COVID,
money.
right?
No, even before COVID.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I didn't know how many they discontinued, but I remember they had a jillion of them.
They did. They had a Polish Fest too.
Is that gone?
That one, I think that one's also
Really?
gone.
Gosh, my mom and I went to Polish Fest maybe 20, 30 times as volunteers.
The thing is,
Jesus.
the people who do those things, who like
a couple days
the
in a row,
Polish Fest or the German Fest or whatever, right? They're not like Polish all the time, right? They do their Polish thing. They act up the part for this event.
And then there were my grandma's friends, and they were just Polish.
And then they go back to being normal Milwaukee people.
No, they
when
couldn't
they
even
go
get rid of their
Well,
accent.
yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Most of the people I knew had a very heavy Polish accent and had just moved from Poland. At least that's the people who went to these events.
Just to point out, like, some of the, like, how you can, like, interact with so many cultures and whatnot. So where I work, one of the customers, actually, okay, so we have some customers that are Somali, some that are Amharic, and I started, talking to this Amharic dude, and I started, like, learning some of the language, and he was, like, talking about how there is, like, an Orthodox, like, an Ethiopian Orthodox church, which means, like, they have, like, the big ass canon, right?
Oh,
and First Enoch is part of their canon, which I haven't had a chance to talk to him about that yet. I really do want to talk to him about that though. So like they have one of those, like, a few blocks away from where I work. Like, so like River West, especially, like, everyone's got, like, their own little thing. It's so you just meet a lot of interesting people.
Yeah. Anyways, Milwaukee's a strange place.
It is.
It's very segregated. That's the point. It's very segregated. But
to be clear, you are allowed to go to other places.
Yeah, you're allowed
not banned
to
from
nothing. There's no tolls. There's no obvious signs. There's no roads that are no certain people or any garbage.
No Mexicans past this point is not a sign you're gonna find.
Not anymore. Wow. But for a very long time.
So how about we hop into this last chapter here? Mm-hmm. Chapter 13.
Yeah.
The nations will be judged. And
Papers, Please is a great game. If you haven't played Papers, Please, you should.
I haven't.
You haven't played Papers, Please?
No.
We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored by Papers, Please. But if you click the link in the there's not a link in the description.
If you look up the term right there.
So Papers, Please is a game where it's like I forget the exact.
And who doesn't?
I forget the exact details of the
like
country.
Ellis Island level.
But it's like a Soviet bloc country. And you have to look through people's passports and IDs and give them stamps of approval or rejection based off of their appearance and the regulations that are in place for who can travel to where.
I see.
And people will try to bribe you and stuff. It's fairly realistic for a pixelated game.
So, speaking on Nord Shadow Legends, I meant to download the art that Sumami made for Nord Shadow Legends, so we could put it up on the stream, and I just totally forgot to do that. So I'll do that for the Sunday show though.
Wonderful.
So we can say we're sponsored by Nord Shadow Legends.
Yes, and why don't you get started while I get a refill?
You can do that. And after these things, it happened that I, Baruch, was standing on Mount Zion, and behold!
Behold.
Ruben also did it.
I heard it.
If you guys didn't hear him,
I
know you heard it.
That's what counts.
Okay. A voice came from the high heavens, saying to me, "Stand upon your feet, Baruch, and hear the word of the mighty God, because you have astonished at that which has befallen Zion. You will surely be preserved until the end of times, to be for a testimony. This means that if these happy cities will ever say, 'Why has the mighty God brought upon us this retribution?' You and those who are like you, those who have seen this evil and retribution coming over for you and your nation in their own time may say to them that the nations will be thoroughly punished. So, I guess he is receiving this prophecy that is, I guess he will be living proof of it, these end times, right? He'll be a testimony to them for the end. So by the time they get there, he can rebuke them and whatnot. Also, hello, welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. We all know about the Reuben sandwich, and it's a wonderful, iconic sandwich.
Right, but did you see the Reuben sandwich in the Discord?
No.
Okay, you should go perusing for that.
What have you done?
But it was posted last week, right?
I'm not gonna look that.
I don't know if it was meme or stream.
I'm not gonna go through the effort.
Okay, fair enough. But either way, it's
I looked through the whole thing.
It's in there somewhere. So
a good time was had by all.
Do you like the conspiracy stuff channel?
Oh boy,
I love the conspiracy stuff channel. I'm so glad that I unilaterally decided to do that at like 4 in the morning one day.
Yeah, so some fun stuff has been in there. Other times we have had conversations in there that have been absolutely fucking ridiculous, with everyone like at each other's throats.
Oh yeah,
and just trying to find some middle ground and understanding of each other. Like, why did you do this to us?
I made the conspiracy stuff channel so that people could just post stuff that they want to make fun of.
That works too.
Yeah, like all the flat Earth stuff.
True.
Yep. Elvis.
Oh man, I saw a flat Earth meme, and I wish I would have posted it there. It was great. It was just a series of thumbnails from this guy's YouTube channel, starting 8 months back, going to 5 months.
Geez.
Did you see that one?
Was it the what? Was it the reverse clown one?
Yes, it was the reverse clown. It was awesome.
So good.
Yes, I laughed at that.
It's funny because it's true.
Right.
Yeah, it's great.
It's just like it's a Ponzi scheme is the last one or something like that. Yeah, and it's like not a clown anymore.
Right.
Good.
That is so funny. Just I feel like that guy has actually done he did do multiple flat Earth debates where he was the flat Earther arguing for it, but then eventually
he lost.
Well, eventually he just got out of flat Earth stuff and came onto FTFE's channel and was like, "I used to be a flat Earther. We argued before, but yeah, I was wrong." So,
I thought that you were going to talk about how this guy was just a super committed performance artist who took his YouTube channel of flat Earth so seriously that he LARPed his one so well that he got into debates.
Wouldn't that be nice if that were true?
That's not. I don't think that's what happened. You can believe
like a
that's
Poe.
what happened. Yeah, like a Poe. Gonna continue on though, and this they may expect, and when they say in that time, when you will say to them, "You who have drunk the clarified wine."
The clarified wine. Do they mean sanctified?
Okay, I don't know. Here, I'll finish this off here. You who have drunk the clarified wine, you now drink its dregs. Oh, okay. So really fine wine, but now instead of drinking the fine wine, you're drinking the dregs.
Is that you used up all the good stuff, and now you just have the garbage left over?
Yes. For the judgment of the Most High is impartial. My ass. Therefore, he did not spare his own sons first. He did not spare his own sons first, but he afflicted them as his enemies because they sinned. Can you check a few things for me in a Bible? So one of them is Psalm 44:4.
Psalm 44:4.
Yeah.
Well, Lawrence, let me tell you about Psalm 44:4. See, the thing about Psalm 44:4 is that...
Or it might be, this might be a reference to this book in 44:4.
Psalm 44, thou art my king, O God, command deliverances for Jacob.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, I got you.
Through thee we will push down our enemies. Through thy name we tread them under that rise up against us.
Okay. And then Deuteronomy 10:17.
Deuteronomy 10:17. Deuteronomy 10:17. What do you know about Deuteronomy 10:17?
I know that it's a single verse.
I know that Numbers is a really long book. Deuteronomy 10:17. For the Lord your God is God of gods and Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons nor taketh reward. He doth execute judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and loveth the stranger in giving him food and raiment.
That's weird. Okay, so
He is impartial, right?
Sure, I guess.
Regardeth not persons nor taketh reward.
Interesting, though, that it would say, therefore he did not spare his own sons first, but he afflicted them as his enemies because they sinned. Therefore, they were once punished that they might be forgiven. But now, you nations and tribes, you are guilty. Because
is punishment a prerequisite for forgiveness?
Were you trying to do that meme?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, you
I
did
was
it
trying to
anyways.
drink coffee.
Okay, gotcha. But anyways, no, it's not.
I
a
forgive
prerequisite
you.
for forgiveness.
I forgive you.
See? Did you see that?
Lawrence, you wronged me in some way. Chris, 50 lashes, and then I will forgive you.
Okay.
Later?
You could do that, but not necessary.
I'll go get that whip.
All right.
That's what everyone who's about to receive 50 lashes says. Unless they're really into that.
True. That is true.
That's their thing.
Therefore,
But they can be really into it and still very bashful. And like,
True.
You know, we don't need to go through all that. I don't want you to go through the
Right.
trouble
Oh,
or
no.
anything.
Please don't.
No.
Whatever
Stop.
will I do?
Oh, ow.
You don't have to do that for little old me.
Yeah, right. Therefore, they were once punished, but they might be forgiven. But now, you nations and tribes, you are guilty, because you have trodden the earth all this time, and because you have used creation unrighteously. For I have always benefited you, and you have always denied the beneficence. And that is the end of chapter 13.
So, this is pretty straightforward. It's a lament following the fall of the temple. And it's a parallel to a lament following the fall of the other temple. There's really not much that I can say about these sections right now. They're not really going into the apocalypse aspect so much,
But they are going into like divine justification for things.
Mm-hmm. And the justifications are irrational,
Right, yeah.
and absurd.
Now you have been doing all this, like you've been doing so good for so long, but you were not following whatever prescriptions, so gonna fuck you up, and then you'll be forgiven.
You know, that's dumb.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the end of the reading for the day.
They do that in the Bible too.
Yes, they do.
They literally kill Jesus so that you can be forgiven for something.
Yeah, which is because the thing is with their sacrifice theologies, something had to be given up. That being,
look, I wanted to bring up something on stream, and I don't know if I'm ever going to have the chance. So,
okay,
Genesis 2:17.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you messaged me about this.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die. Genesis 2:21 through 22. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from the man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. Now, Genesis 3. Genesis 3:2 through 3. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So, this doesn't make sense. How can Eve say that this is something that was said to her
When she
by
wasn't
God?
there.
Right, when she wasn't, yes.
When she wasn't there? And how can the judgment be cast upon Eve for sinfulness when she was not the recipient of the command not to do that thing?
Oh, I know this one because she's a woman.
Yeah, because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's it.
because she was Adam for that time.
Right, yeah. Oh, right, because if you do the whole hermaphroditic Adam, right, where it's...
If it's the hermaphroditic Adam, then there are two conscious entities
Yes.
unto which God could have spoken. But it says that God said to Adam, not God said to Adam and Eve.
I'll agree that it is convoluted in its ordering and that
The order of events doesn't make sense.
It's almost as if they had two authors.
it's almost as
It's almost
if this
as if
is
they've
a
had
story
dozens
that's been,
of authors
a
over
story
time.
that's
At
been
least-
handed down telephone
At least
game
3.
style a lot.
Yeah. But yeah, either way.
I'm
right.
including every single small emendation.
Right, yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? Dozens of authors. We need to expand it from like PJ. No, forget about that. We're going like author 1776 because that's the author of the 1776 letter of Genesis.
Wow.
And they can refer to overarching specific authors, right, who can be identified as the authors of individual. But you really do have to make it individual letters because if you
sometimes
don't,
literally they will just change a letter or like misreading or something.
yeah,
even
or
in
they
that
can
case.
change a tense,
Right. Yeah.
Right?
True.
so you need to be able to identify all these changes if you want to get a coherent understanding
Right.
of who actually.
But then you have to do it
produced
by
it.
time period to see how it changed over time, and it's
Right.
yeah. It gets very complicated. So
Yes.
All right.
that's the show for today. Hey, if you guys
Do the things.
but all you have to actually do is join the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Join the Discord. We have a good time in there.
Yeah, I
And-
wonder how the Adam and Eve story can be used with regards to trans people and evangelicals, right?
Wow.
Um,
Fair point.
Right? If we go with the hermaphroditic Adam, then that's obvious.
Right,
but
yeah.
most of them will never admit to the hermaphroditic Adam.
No.
But there is something there because
Pretty strong Jewish tradition about that one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Right, but they'll never admit that.
No.
Because they're historically uneducated
Right.
at best.
Okay.
But there might be something there because they literally do produce Eve from Adam, right?
Yes.
So it's not like whatever constitutes Eve was not,
And it's not
within-
rib, right? The translation is side.
right?
Pulled it out, pulled Eve out of his side.
Right.
Yeah.
Rib is just what we get in
Right.
this translation, but it's not like that which constitutes Eve was not present within Adam, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So whatever.
And someone, by the way, I was talking. This pissed me off because of the sheer stupidity. Someone was telling me that rib in the passage. You're gonna get a kick out of this.
Rib.
was code for ribosome.
Oh, bum bum.
That is an actual argument I heard from somebody.
And with that being
rib was
said-
short for ribosome. Your brain is fried now.
Yep.
You're going to have to live with the knowledge of someone saying that.
Yep.
And we will
See you on Sunday.
Sunday.